Today we're going to talk about this very impressive list of incoming recruits for the ChampU BBQ, and all that's coming up after the bumper.
What do you mean you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel?
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
What's up, kid folk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. So it's OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time, and today we're going to talk about the list of recruits that have told my man's Brandon Drum they are going to the ChampU BBQ, and we're talking about kiddos from 2020 to 2022. There are 24 names on this list, and it continues to grow. And if you want to read the whole list, go to OUinsider.com. It's there. My man Brandon Drum and I are updating it as we get information. Dudes that are possible are not listed there, so these are the names that we have nailed down. Among them, Brendan Walker, AJ Green. I mean, we can keep going. But I know that there's a couple of names in here that you would be very interested to know about. A couple of them, right? Travian Ford, defensive lineman, and Noah Arinze, defensive lineman. And for the folks that continue to want to obsess over the number of defensive linemen at Oklahoma, here you go. Now, I know that Brandon Drum and Steve Wiltfong logged crystal balls for Noah Arinze, and for good reason. Every year, there's at least one or two guys that decide to commit to Oklahoma at this event, and coming out of the dead period, it's always a big deal, and it's your last big opportunity to impress recruits before you start taking visits, unofficial, official, otherwise during the season. And this is also a great time for coaches and parents to have some one-on-one time with not just position coaches, but with Lincoln Riley. He makes it a point to make this thing the center of his attention over the weekend, especially as they are going to start up fall camp just days from now. I mean, Meet the Sooners Day is August 2nd. That is just around the corner. But I'm looking at this list of guys who have told us that they are planning to attend this event. And there are the commits that you know about. Guys like Andrew Rames, Seth McGowan, Devin Graham, Brian Darby, Brendan Walker. And then there are other guys like Cody Jackson, 2021 recruit. Now, I also saw in here that a guy that a lot of people are just going to have their eyes on for the next couple of years, Kendrick Blackshire, has said he's going to attend this event. Why is Kendrick Blackshire such a big deal? Because if you look up Kendrick Blackshire, you will see, as one recruiter told me, a flesh bomb. This dude he's 2021, and that means that he's a rising junior. So he's like 16, but he's also 6'3", 250, and he looks every bit like he could play in the NFL tomorrow. Matter of fact, he could play in the NFL last year. Regardless of classification, this is a top-tier linebacker, and if you watch in his film, you'll see that he still doesn't actually know how to use his size to his advantage in the way that, say, Justin Flo does. Justin Flo's a bully. Kendrick Blackshire could be a bully. And while I still contend that right now Texas is the leader, getting him onto campus at OU is not a small thing, especially knowing that the kids that usually come out of Duncanville usually end up at Texas. So just having that guy on campus, showing him what you have in store, letting him get to know the other guys that are committed in the 2020 class, and also having Cody Jackson on campus for him to associate with as a guy that's going to be in the 2021 group, that's huge for you. I mean, I cannot say enough good things about how big a deal it is to get Kendrick Blackshire to show up to this event a year ahead of when it's going to be crunch time. Now, outside of that, you got some of the usual suspects that you would suspect. Again, you can go check the full list out at OUinsider.com. But another guy that I think could help with landing guys like Kendrick Blackshire that's going to show up, Ethan Downs, guy out of Weatherford, Oklahoma, a guy that both Brandon and I are extremely high on. And if Oklahoma could land a commitment from him, that would be one of your top in-state recruits. Might be the number one recruit in the 2021 class. We'll see. AJ Green might have something to do with that. Number one recruit in the state of Oklahoma, I should say. AJ Green would have something to say about that, I'm sure. And there's a couple other guys from Oklahoma that I really do think have an opportunity to get near the top, if not at the top, in the 2021 rankings inside this state. But what is the ChampU BBQ for folks that you're new to recruiting, you're new to OU recruiting, you're not necessarily sure about what this is? This is an unofficial event that is invitation only to prospects and their families, where you get to show up and associate, congregate, have fun with the OU football staff. I mean, we're talking about everything from water balloon fights to giving opportunities to do skits to just basically chilling out for a little bit and getting to understand what I think they're going to try to rebrand this like OU Family Day, which is fine because that's what recruits and their families mostly take away from Oklahoma, especially the ones that end up committing, is it feels like a family. It feels like the place where I'm supposed to be, and it feels as if I'm just going to join my extended family in Norman as opposed to go to a place where I'm going to be asked to just play football and go to school and not a whole lot else. Lincoln Riley has taken great pride in a holistic approach to recruiting, if not always how he coaches kiddos. And I think that all of that would show up in the wash if he didn't take a holistic approach to coaching kiddos. But it is important to underscore just the job that gets done when you're talking about not just recruiting the kids, but staying in contact with the kids. Like I'll never forget the stories that are told to me by some parents about how does executive director of football recruiting Annie Hansen do this? Because she's able to find out little factoids and little details about individual recruits and their families and then present them in such a way to say, hey, look, we're paying attention and we care. You know, an example of this where, well, I think I want to keep that one to myself, come to think of it, because that one's very cool. But I'm really interested to see what else she has in store when we're talking about with the mailers, what the recruiting staff has in store when we're talking about what event can we get them involved with, like the Stroke of Genius during the spring game, to have all the guys go down to Chesapeake Arena and have dinner there, being able to show them that the Oklahoma City Thunder is here and the Oklahoma City Thunder being receptive to Oklahoma hosting an event there for recruits and their families, also big. The way that they keep just reinventing how to do this is being paid attention to across the country. There's lots of ways in which this used to be just Oklahoma doing it. Now everybody has their own form of how to do their version of a barbecue or an unofficial event. The spring game becoming one of the biggest dates on the recruiting calendar is also an Oklahoma thing that has expanded to the rest of college football because it's a copycat profession, it's a copycat league, it's a copycat industry. If it's working, we're going to try to make our own spin on it. You can even see that in schemes, right? What was once the Wildcat has become all kinds of different things where we're just direct snapping the ball to a halfback. The RPOs, even in recruiting, this thing extends out. I'm really interested to see what kind of stories come out of this event and what the kiddos have to say following it. And I'm sure that my man Brandon Drum's going to have more to say about this throughout the week, but I did want to get us off and running and say this is a thing that's happening, and it is an enormous list of potential, not just offers and uncommitted prospects, but committed prospects who are choosing to come to Oklahoma of their own volition at a time when usually you're on vacation with your family, with your friends, you are getting prepared, do other things, you're trying to enjoy your downtime before you got to go back to school, before the season and camp really starts to pick up in earnest. This is the time to show out if you're Oklahoma. This is the time to try to lock up a commit that you think is on the edge, or to try to secure a commitment from an offer who just wanted to see what Oklahoma was about, saw what they needed to see, and then is able to tell Lincoln Riley, go ahead and tweet those eyeballs. All right, it is it for me. Doses.